What's up, everybody? Placido here with Inspired Bass, helping you to advance and inspire on the bass. So you want to know how you can play major 2-5-1s a little less square. Well, in this video, I'm going to show you one minor substitution that you can use over any major 2-5-1 chord progression, and it'll definitely help your major 2-5-1s sound a little less square. Let's check it out. Okay, so a common thing when bass players are first learning how to play 2-5-1 chord progressions is they start out learning out how to play arpeggios, for instance. So for instance, in a 2-5-1 in the key of C, we have the 2 chord, which is a D minor 7, the 5 chord, which is a G7, and then your 1 chord. Okay, that could be a C major 6 or C major 7. Now for the 2 chord, what is often taught is some sort of D minor 7 arpeggio. And then for the G7 chord, a G dominant 7 arpeggio. And then followed by a C major 7 arpeggio. Or C major 6. The only thing with that is you're not really hitting the notes that actually at the end of the day make it sound jazzy. And in jazz, a lot of times the 5 chord is where a lot of alterations can be thrown in, or some other bluesy notes can be thrown in to create a little bit more tension, so there's a little bit more pull towards a resolution to this 1 chord. Okay, so here's a simple way we can accomplish that, and that's by using a minor substitution. So for the D minor 7 chord, or the 2 chord, it's often taught to use a D Dorian scale. Okay, so we have D, E, F, G, A, B, and C. Okay. Now what I love about Dorian is that you can actually start on any note and end on any note for playing a D Dorian, for instance, over a D minor 7 chord, and it will sound good. So I can start on the root, and that sounds fine over this. I can start on the 2nd degree, that still sounds good over this. I can start on the 3rd, that sounds fine. Start on even the 11th, or G. I can start on an A. That sounds good. I can even start on a B, which I've heard some people say that requires special treatment, but I actually think it sounds really good. Okay. Now here's what we do with the minor substitution. We're going to play a D Dorian for the 2 chord. Okay, so D Dorian. And then for the 5 chord, you're just going to shift up a minor 3rd. Okay, so instead of D Dorian, for the 5 chord, you're going to now play F Dorian. And then you're going to resolve back to C major. Now here's why that works and why it sounds pretty cool. If you're going to play F Dorian over G7, okay, so for a G7, your essential chord tones are G, B, and F. Now, if I play any of the notes of an F Dorian will work. You can start and end on any notes, and these are the notes you have. You have F, G, A flat, B flat, C, D, E flat, F. Okay, so the F, for instance, is the flat 7, or the dominant 7. Then you have your G, which is your root, A flat, which is the flat 9, B flat, which is the sharp 9, C, which is the 11, D, which is the 5th, E flat, which is the flat 13, and you're back at F. I could start on any of those notes over this G7, it will sound good. So I can start on F. I can start on the G. And that sounds Sounds good. I can start on the A flat. I can start on the B flat. I can start on the C, which is the 11th. Okay, I can start on the D, which is the 5th, which will sound good. And then I can start on the E flat, which is the flat 13. And that, all those notes in an F Dorian will resolve very nicely to your C major. Okay, so this F, for instance, has a natural tendency to resolve to that E natural. The G will naturally want to either stay or move up a fourth to resolve to the C. So the A flat will want to resolve down to a G. The B flat will want to resolve down to an A natural. Okay, so that's B flat. Resolves to a C6 really nicely. The C natural, it's already reaching that resolution, but played over G creates some sort of suspended sound. The D natural will want to resolve down to a C, so and that's going to resolve down to a C. The E flat will want to resolve down to a D, or even can go up to an E. Let's hear how that sounds. If I resolve to a D, that's a C9. If I resolve it up to an E, it resolves very nicely. So every note in the Dorian scale works really well, so that's why it works. So let me recap how this works. For the 2 chord, play D Dorian. The 5 chord, you're going to play an F Dorian over this G dominant 7. And then for the C chord, or the 1 chord, you're going to play some sort of C major scale or an idea, okay? So you can even literally play the same thing. And then just shift up. And then resolve. Okay, so that's just the basic minor substitution that you can use over any major 2-5-1 chord progression. Let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Give me a thumbs up if you think this was helpful, and subscribe for more videos just like this. Until next time, keep advancing and inspiring on the bass. I'll see you soon. Wow, Stanley. Really?